Good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching. Welcome to Latasha Gray Matters. I'm your host, Dave Sokolowski. I'm here with Barry 3D Carter and Thomas Einstein Patrice.
Oh my God.
So, Thomas, what's new? What's exciting? What's happening? What do you want to discuss tonight?
Sometimes when time is alone, I like to take a little bubble bath and I'm not going to talk about that. On a more serious note, I've always wanted to talk about the last Avengers movie and the theory of time travel. I've always been fascinated by time travel. I've always watched movies. I even have the old 1966 movie called The Time Traveler, where this guy basically creates a reindeer carriage with a big spinning wheel on the back, and he can go backwards and forwards in time. But here's the whole reality about it. There are a lot of people around the world who call themselves time travelers. You can always see them on YouTube talking about, my name is Jim Bob Rolly Dole. I'm from 2085. President Trump's head has been cloned. Like, okay, stupidness like that. Secondly, you hear the theories of time travel. I love the Avengers theory of time travel. There are several different points of time. If you go to one, mess one up, you change everything and everything. Okay, we saw that in Back to the Future. But what really is time travel? Okay, we have to understand the principles of time travel. Moving yourself both forwards and backwards. Here's my crazy theory. I believe you can go backwards in time from the point that you are, but you can't go forward. It's a theory that I thought about after watching Jean-Claude Van Damme in Time Cop. Of course, in every movie he does the splits. Oh, time traveler, do the splits. Oh, fighting a time traveler, do the splits.
It's in his contract.
That's right, it's in the contract. Look at my Jordache jeans, do the splits. Okay, let's not do the splits because that shit hurts. But anyways, guys, give me your ideas. Time travel, what do you think?
Well, first of all, it's time travel. As a black man, you can't go past a certain year because we don't do good past a certain year. This is why black people.
Let's go to the past. Let's go to the past. Why the fuck are we on this boat?
Exactly, right? We don't work out too far, right? See, we can't go back in the past.
No. That's why we have Dave. Okay, we go back a little bit too far, and I'll be like, "No, Dave, you said it was a cruise. It was a cruise, man." Anyways, no, seriously, guys, honestly, all that stuff aside, here's what I'm talking about. The theory of time travel is that you need.
Who let the dogs out?
You don't need a dog. Are you renting out your dog, Dave? Like in our last episode, we talked about French people renting out their dog. Your dog's upset with you.
This is why I'm willing to rent out the fucking dog.
No, seriously. Okay, the theory of time travel is this. You have to have a mover or a propellant to push you either forwards or backwards in time. And I'll explain my theory. I believe, yes, you can go back in time, okay, because you can't go forward in time. I'll explain. We are alive at this point right now. If you went forward in time, you wake out of existence because you don't exist yet at that time. But a future you can come back to this time because they're already in existence and their past is what you're a part of. Does it work? I think Dave's going to sleep, or he's just sitting there going, I'm going to punch this man in the head if he don't stop smoking weed. He's smoking again. Who's letting time to smoke that? Who's letting time to smoke?
No. Interesting. But in your theory, you would only be able to travel back as long as you've been alive.
Exactly. And I'll tell you why at that point. Because you have to think about it in a linear sense. Yes, there are a lot of parts of moving around at the same time, but in a linear sense, I was technically born in 1968. I can go back to 1969, or I can go all the way forward to present day or just before. But you cannot go past your existence point. Secondly, you can only go to your past. You can't go to somebody else's past. You can see their past, right? Like I can find out where Barry went to school, go over and go, let me tell you something. You don't let Tommy play with your collection of G.I. Joes. I'm going to you up.
Bring it.
Okay, little Barry Carter. I know you can still fight. No. Or I could go visit Dave when Dave's 15 and say, Dave, all I'm going to say is touch of gray. Anyways.
I'm going to say it's a great Grateful Dead song. I've got the beard to show it.
At 15, you had that beard?
But as a well-known time traveler once said, people assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
And who is this?
Doctor Who.
Okay.
10th Doctor. If you want to get technical, it was the 10th Doctor, David Tennant.
No, okay, good point.
Okay, so going to your theory, what you're saying, you can go back and it's linear. Do you think that if you went back in the past, could you change something and would it cause another line? For what you're saying,
I think it would change the person you are today. Right. I don't think it would cause like a ripple effect.
No, but exactly what I mean. If it would change, let's say, so if I went back and saw myself at 16 and I said, okay, for example, Barry, I know you want to, let's say, date this person. Don't date this person. You should go for this person. Would that dare go and change everything?
No, hold on for 1 second, okay? Because you're both full of shit. Okay, you are both so full of shit. Because if either one of you went back to your 16-year-old self and you didn't say, buy Apple shares or invest into this thing called Yahoo or Google or no, but okay, but at the time still.
Yeah.
You jumped in on Yahoo. Yahoo came in way before Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? So if you want to, and when you're 16, at 16, what was there? Nothing.
Well, it's true. We're that generation. That's right. We're that generation that went from, rotary phones to smartphones.
We went from playing solitaire with actual fucking cards.
Yeah.
To
what we have now.
To having the entire universe
on a phone.
Every bit of knowledge on this.
But Dave, here's the thing. In truth, if I went back in time, and you always hear these people saying, don't change anything, because the minute you change anything, you'll destroy everything. Okay, I slapped that person, because yes, I would change some things, because Tommy want to be rich. But I would change things that I felt or knew wouldn't harm other people. Because you have to be very careful with the concept of changing someone's timeline, changing someone's existence as we know it. If I go back and I tell Barry Carter, invest in Yahoo, and I go back and I tell Thomas Patrice, make sure you invest or create Google, and I go back and I tell Dave Sokolowski, I want you to invent Apple computers. We then become the people who shift those makers and creators out of their existence that they know today. We then become those people. Granted, but I myself would be very careful. I wouldn't do anything like, I wouldn't go up and say, you know what you got to do? Hey, little Trump, you know what you got to do? You got to run for president. I wouldn't do anything crazy, okay? I do things very, very simple, and I only deal with myself. But we're talking about the theory of time travel. We're talking about how to create it.
All right, so you're talking about time travel. You can only go back within the time you existed at. Okay, I can understand that. You can't go past that. You can't go into the future yet because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't been written, so you got to go back. So that is your thing, and it stays linear. But then things wouldn't. But are you still saying that even if you change something, it wouldn't create another paradox? It wouldn't create another line? It would still stay in that same line?
No, I'm saying that it would create a ripple effect. I'm not. Right. I don't think it would. Like, okay, if other dimensions of ourselves exist and we are other people, okay, fine, I can understand that. But if something I do in my dimension, in my existence,
Mhm.
here on this
Yeah.
planet,
Yeah, gotcha.
okay?
But what
Because-
happens when you come back? Going what Dave said, going what you said. Let's say I go back and say, all right, Barry, invest in Yahoo. Find out what this Yahoo thing is. Take all the money you have, invest in Yahoo. Find whoever it is, invest in Yahoo. All right, perfect. I'm going back to the future now, right? Not it sound like the cliche of the movie. So come back. Little Barry now went in there. I'm gonna come back to the house that I know, and I'm not gonna see it. I'm gonna look at my driver's license, and it's gonna have me a different address altogether. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm living in Florida. What the hell am I doing in Canada? I'm not gonna have the memories of what changed.
Wait
Right?
a minute.
I know
Wait a minute.
movies always say, oh, the
Wait.
memories adjust and the timeline adjusts, so you do start to slowly remember what you are, like hot tub time machine and all that. But really, what
You would have those memories because yes, the memories would change. You're changing your timeline.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
changing anybody else's.
No,
But
I get that.
It would change. Okay? And yes, you would come back to the spot that you left at. It may be a grocery store. It may be a cellar. But you would come back to the point you left at. And the driver's license in your hand and everything, you'd find out, hey, what they'd be like, why is Barry Carter one of the richest men? What's he doing in Brossard, Quebec? Well, why is he there? Why?
But that's my point, because by the time let's say I'm here, I go back in time, invest in Yahoo, I come back to the same point of time. Now Barry here invests in Yahoo, and Barry there has a different life, and Barry moves into a big house, let's say down, as I said, somewhere in Florida or Hawaii and all that. So when I come back, I'm here. It's gonna be like feeling like Marty from Back to the Future, where I'm like, okay, here I am, in Milton. I don't know the street. Where the hell is this street? Florida? I'm going to call home. I'm going to start talking to people who I don't know. I'm going to have people come, hey, man, we're still going to get out for lunch. Sure. I don't know you because, remember, I put myself in a bubble. I'm guessing, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of put myself in a bubble. So when I come back, I'm remembering everything I did until I made the machine, went wherever I got back in time, and then came back to the point where I left it. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give Thomas a call. Yo, Tom, what's going on? Barry? Haven't talked to you since high school, man. What are you calling me? Oh.
Are you
All right,
calling me
take care.
you calling me for the 250 hour, you for the damn poutine? Man, you rip. Let it go.
All right, my bad.
Yeah,
Take care.
motherfucker.
My bad. but you see? But and now, so when does one catch up to the other? Or can you only go back as an observer and not change it? You have to let everything play out.
If you do go back, and this is what a lot of times this is what they say, you should only go back and observe. You shouldn't change anything. A couple of the ass whoopings I got, I would change because I would show up and I would make up that.
Yeah, but once again,
I didn't know, hey, I was 6. I did not know she could fight. Shut up.
But everything that happens to you defines who you are right now. And if you change something, you either make it worse or better for yourself. But when you come back, it's not to say, oh, hey, you're me living in a mansion, and here's me who went back in time, having to pay a mortgage. Okay, let's merge. Oh, I remember everything now. I don't talk to this person anymore. These are my new group of friends. Here's who I'm with. This is what my family is now, not the family I left. So how when you go, if you change something, I'm only talking about changing. If you go back and you observe and say, oh, I remember that, and you come back, okay, great. If you go back in the past and say, oh, where did I leave my keys, for example, and you go back to wherever you left your keys, oh, I left them there, that's where I left them, then you're going to come back to present day and say, oh, I got to go to this bar because I left my keys there, or I left my phone there by an accident, and you go and you get your phone back. That is present day. That's just like observing, you know what I mean? It's like, as I said with the keys, you drop your keys in the couch, you don't realize.
The camera for a moment. You think I'm going to spend over $1 billion because I need to find a phone? Dave, can you reach through your side of the camera and punch him hard in the leg?
I know you, man. You would, just to say you did.
No, because first of all, if I could do that, I would have went back and told myself a number of years ago to invent that.
Control F for what? Oh!
But I somewhat I agree with both of you. Like, if you do go back and you change stuff, you can't come back to what you have now because it's going to be totally different and you're going to be, not the same. But I don't think, and strictly as much as I have hope and faith in them, humanity is fucking stupid.
Yep.
You know, like we're like the time travel question that everybody always asks and always has to, you know, kind of like, ooh, if you could travel back into time, what would you do? And everybody's always like, I'd fucking kill Hitler. Right? Well, yeah, it's a great idea because Hitler was a bad guy. But, you know, what if Hitler, as bad as he was keeping other people in check? And without Hitler there,
There's a worse
somebody
evil.
worse is going to take over.
Okay.
Yep.
You know,
With that question,
so hold on. So for that, I mean, like, yeah, I do think that at one point in time travel will be possible. I do think that I do. I've seen so much science fiction and everything else, you know. I mean, like, I do have, you know, and it's going to be done by people way fucking smarter than me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Hey, man,
You
if
know.
Fry from Futurama can do it, we can do it.
No, exactly, but that's the thing. So I mean, like, if there is that possibility, I think that a lot of the shows that portray it
Mhm.
and have it in there have some sort of truth behind it. Like they have
Oh,
some sort of
absolutely.
idea of how it works.
can I just throw this in there? There was a TV show I used to watch called The Fifth Day about a guy who was an Army Ranger. He was trained by an astronaut, and they would send him back. No, sorry, it's called 7 Days. They would send him back 7 days to correct an event.
That I remember. I was like, fifth day. That doesn't ring a bell, but
The seventh, and the theory of the trajectory of the planets, you have to because this is another thing you have to understand about time travel. A lot of people think it's just you go from point A to point B and you're good. Time travel is a lot more than that. Number one, you're moving a solid object yourself, okay? Plus other solid objects, the actual machine from point A to point B. You have to have a sender and a receiver. So if you think, I'm going to get in this bubble, I'm going to go through time, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to get in this bubble. You're done, okay? But if you have a sender, point A, and a receiver, point C, not B, point C. You have to remember, the time that you're traversing is point B. You have to make the calculations for that, right? Now,
and what's that line? If the calculations are wrong, this is going to be a real short trip. It ain't like Dustin Croft's boy.
exactly.
You're going to come out of hyperspace into a star.
You know what I mean? No, but this is the thing. You could time travel, and like I said, somebody says, "Oh, I'm just gonna pull the plug and clean this machine." What's this mud? Look, that look like mud. You know what I mean? Or somebody moves the machine, right? Just as you're phasing into that time, a leg drops out of nowhere. I know that arm. Property of Dave Sokol. Oh my God! Yeah.
What do we do? I don't know, but that's a nice watch.
That tattoo looks really familiar.
You know? The reason I ask you guys about time travel is we've traveled together, we've been on the road together, we've always talked about a lot of things.
I told you sucked at that show. You can't go back and do it again. Okay? Just let it go, for Christ's sake. It's been 5 years.
Because she was laughing at everything. Then she said, "What do you mean? Where's my peanut?" I just always been curious because time travel has always fascinated me, and I've seen a lot of people talk about I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's one guy who talks about going back in time and being at the Gettysburg Address, and he went back and he was a chrononaut at the age of 7, and yes, he went back. Like, whose father is gonna put their 7-year-old child in a plasma bubble? Do you know that if this is true, your dad didn't like it? Okay?
You know, it's like, hey, you gonna clean the room? Come on, Dad, I'm playing a game. Hey, why don't you come with me? We're gonna work on some stuff together. No need to yell, son. I got a project we can do together.
I don't quite know how to tell you this, Ivan, but the adoption didn't go through. But I have a backup plan. Don't worry about it.
But it's true because right, I get what you're saying because there's always these things. Like I saw one particular picture that showed up online, and everyone says, "Oh, this person's a time traveler." I think it was at a Mike Tyson fight or a boxing match, and they had a person, and they're standing up there, and they're it looks like they're holding a smartphone. Like when they zoom in, and people are like, okay, well, why would they hold a smartphone at that time when a smartphone never existed? And this was the whole thing. It was like, is it a time traveler? And then people zoomed in on it just to see what it looked like because they're holding this big object. What kind of camera is it? And they were trying to figure that out. And it's like maybe, and the way the person was dressed, it was like they're standing up very straight, and glasses were on, dark shades. Like it was really out of character for that moment. But the thing is, you never heard someone come forward and say, "Hey, yeah, that was me there, and this is the phone I was holding," or "Oh, that's a picture of me going around the internet." Usually someone would kind of claim it and be able to prove it, and no one has come forward with that. And everyone's saying it's the whole theory is it's a time travel because it really looks out of place.
But think about it. If you were a time traveler, would you tell people? I wouldn't say shit.
No, but it's not telling people. But you figure if you was a time traveler, what do? I'm gonna go back and see the Tyson fight. That's your moment. that's your moment.
Really?
That's your moment.
I couldn't afford the pay-per-view, so I bought this machine to go back and watch it.
Well, that's what happened. It was like, oh, geez, you know what? I had to pay. No, I had the tickets. I went to Vegas. I was about to see the fight. I went to get some popcorn while I was in line. I heard ding, ding, ding. Fight's over. I was pissed off, so I used all my energy to build a time machine in the future to go back to finally see it. It's like money well spent.
And that's what he's holding, a box of popcorn from the future.
With a camera on it.
He had the box with the kernels in it, and the time traveling made them pop, and he showed up there, and he's holding this box, and he's just happy to be there.
It's like, Phil, you sure you're going to be there? No, trust me, because me at that time, I was buying popcorn, so I'm going to make use of those seats.
I wanted to talk about that too. Okay, there's another picture where a bunch of people standing on a bridge in Vancouver at the border between the States and Vancouver, and there's this one guy who's got a sweater on, looks like it's a sweater made in the 1990s, with his sunglasses, looks like they're made in 1992, and the picture's taken in the 1960s. I'm thinking, if you're going back in time, you're going to go stand on a bridge with a bunch of people you don't know? Or there's another one where a guy, he's around a whole bunch of like people in the 1920s or something, and they're sitting on some like little hill just above a lake. And dude has on a t-shirt and shorts, and his hair is a little bit wavy. And one guy's looking at him like, who the hell are you? But here's my thing. You're going to go back in time. Muss up your hair just to go sit beside your grandfather and go, see, long hair is better when it's not greased up. Like, some of these things are stupid.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they tried to do a serious time thing and they overshot their time period. Blend in.
But, and there's this new thing on the market. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's, what do they call it? Photoshop.
No,
that's a conspiracy theory. They want you to think it's Photoshop, but it's real, Dave. I've seen Quantum Leap.
Oh my God!
Science fiction is science that hasn't happened yet. Dick Tracy had a watch that he used to talk to. So do I.
Yeah, and Dick Tracy appeared when? In 1940s. You got that watch when? When did it fall off the truck?
It was a Christmas gift 2 years ago.
Oh.
First of all, bang. Nobody please tell me to watch, okay? We know you have problems, okay? Hey, bring the car around. Why are you talking to his watch, guys? What the hell's wrong with him?
Hey, they had Knight Rider, now you got Google Drive. You know what? Trust me, Google cars are driving themselves. Knight Rider. Science fiction is science that hasn't happened yet.
But no, which is why I think that there is that possibility that this could happen because exactly that, because science fiction it just hasn't happened yet. And people are going to look at this and go, that's what I want to do. I want to make that become real. Look at everything that Gene Roddenberry came up with in Star Trek.
Absolutely. Flip phones, the tricorder flip phones, all that stuff is, everyone had those Motorola's. Oh man, it's so cool. How can I help you?
No, and that's the thing. And no matter what, even when you had one, the first time you got one, everybody was doing that. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, absolutely.
It open, go beam me up.
Look, I used to watch the TV show Heart to Heart, where they used to have, the cell phone in the car. It had like 20 minutes of battery life. It was like $700, and it was this big hulking thing with a big battery you're walking on. It's like, hey, and only people had that were doctors. Now, everyone has it. You got a homeless guy's got a cell phone. But to get back to your point, I know you're saying Photoshop, but time travel, the theory is there. People are working on the theories, right? Multiple people are working on these theories of time travel and how it works out. Who's to say someone hasn't come back yet?
No, that's the thing we got to look at. That's something I just we look at events, and this is something that somebody told me that totally blew my mind. Okay, no, I wasn't smoking at the time. This man had been telling me, but he's sitting around, and we were talking about the theory of time travel. This was back in the 1990s. This was back in the 1990s, and somebody said, think about it. Every day you go to sleep and you wake up. How do you know that yesterday actually happened? And how do you know you're actually in this present time? Think about it.
I'll tell you.
The red
I'll
pill
tell you,
or the blue pill.
I'll tell you how I know. Because when I show up at work, my boss doesn't yell at me like, "Hey, where the fuck were you yesterday?" So I know that I was there yesterday, and I know that happened.
No, I'm
And I
talking
know
about
that-
events in your life.
The what?
I'm talking about events in your life, people you know. Like Barry said, you go back in time, you change time, there's an alternate reality for you. There's an alternate timeline.
So wait a minute, you're telling me there's an alternate timeline where you and I are not having this conversation?
Yeah. Got him.
Because to be honest with you, it's sounding mighty fucking good right now.
Going back in time.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. You know what? Hold on. I know it's a little bit
Okay.
off, but you know what I heard and learned the other day, and I seen it for myself.
Oh, please tell me it's Swahili.
No, I wish it was though. I wish it was. So out of the 3 Back to the Future movies, right? My wife and my brother-in-law showed me this when it comes
Is
on
this
TV.
the Twin Pines Lone Pine thing?
No.
Oh fuck! Thank God.
No, but that too. But no, it's the creepy kid at the end. Have you guys noticed the creepy kid at the end? So when you watch Back to the Future, the last one, at the very end of the movie, right? Doc comes back, from the past, from the West. He's got his time traveling train, lands on the rails. He starts talking to Marty. He goes, "Marty, meet my kids, Vern," and I think I can't remember the other kid's name. Jules, right? So
Jules and Vern.
Jules and Vern, right?
Yeah.
So watch
Jules,
Vern.
Jules Verne.
Jules
Who's
Verne.
the author? Yeah, Jules Verne.
Yeah. So watch the kid that he calls Vern. He's a shorter, blonde kid, and he stands there at one point, and he was trying to get the cameraman's attention, but it looks creepy, and they never edit it out. It's still there up to now, even on TV. So he introduces the kids, the camera's looking at them, and then the one who's playing Vern is standing up, and he's going, and he points to his crotch.
Oh
Like
my God.
the kid's seriously standing up, and he's just going. And they never edit it out, but he was trying to tell the cameraman to come closer and I guess to move over, but they filmed it and they never took it out. If you watch it, you actually see it. It looks like he's calling it like, "Hey, come on over. Look at my
That'd
dick."
be amazing if we could bring it up right now.
Yeah, honestly, look, I saw it this weekend. It was on TV this weekend.
Yeah,
And
Back
then
to the Future too.
Yeah, no, 3.
Well, right, 3 was the one where he comes back.
Yeah,
Right.
3 is the one with the whole cowboy thing, right? The very end of 3, this train comes, lands on the rails. "Oh, Marty, you gotta meet my kids. Here's Jules. Here's Vern." And the one he calls Vern is a shorter blonde kid, and he kind of really points to his crotch, which is hilarious. Family fun movie.
Wow. So that's just my theory on it.
Hopefully we get there one day. That's all I'm saying. Because I would love to come back and revisit this whole topic with you.
I'm gonna be at the Tyson fight.
So, this is going to be so much fun because see, even the dog agrees that this was awesome. All right. So on behalf of Bailey, Barry 3D, and time traveling Patrice. Thank you very much for watching. Shut up, we got it. For fuck's sakes. Look, there's a ton of good people out in the world, and if you can't find one, be one. Thanks for
Or make
watching.
love to one.
Or yes, make love to one. Or go back in the past and make love to one. Who knows? You know, just whatever you want to do.